Hello, so today in Spoonie and Ink we're doing a jellyfish. You're gonna start and draw like kind of a bean shape. I don't know if it's really difficult to see in the video actually, but I've drawn a sort of bean shape and then almost made it like the top of a mushroom. Then coming out of the centre, I'm just adding these two like little flappy bits. That's not a great way to describe it. And then I do these wobbly lines, and join each curvature upwards. It's easier to watch in the video what I'm doing. You don't need to be too precise with this. They're called the oral arms, and they're really weird, and all different types of jellyfish have different types, so whatever you're drawing will exist in some way in some species of jellyfish. Obviously you can look at actual types of jellyfish and try and make it as similar to that if you want. And I basically then just start adding like extra bits, because they're weird flappy frilly bits, so it doesn't matter too much. Now this is where I add the tentacles, and I try and remember that again it's underwater, so I try and add a bit of movement, and some might cross over, and that's the first thing I ink in. So I think I can't remember what size pen I grabbed, probably a 0.1 or a 0.2, and I'm basically just lining the tentacles to start with. These are all tentacles from the front of the jellyfish, so I know that they're going to be in front of the oral arms. Something that I decided to do is I just decided to thicken random bits, and I added rounded bits at the end of the tentacles. This is kind of, my lines are wobbly, so I just wanted to make my wobbly bits into like an artistic decision. You don't have to do this if you don't like it, but I actually quite liked how it came out in the end. Again, this is something that you can sort of change and adapt to however you want to do it. So you could make them slightly thicker and not fill them in black. Like you can change them. If you were to draw a moon jellyfish, they've got really short, kind of little fat tentacles, so you could do shorter ones. So yeah, I'm just sticking in random bits, as you can see. Then I'm going in with a thinner pen. I believe I'm doing a 0.1 or a 0.05 to do the oral arms. So I'm lining those first wiggly lines I did to start with, and I make them even more wiggly when I am inking them, and add like little splits and stuff, just to add a bit more texture, and you know, it's a natural thing that exists in the wild, so it won't be perfect, and that's why I like drawing them. Then I go in from the bottom and I just do flicky lines up to kind of show like folding. I try I find it really hard to not space them equally. My brain just does that, but so I have to go in and add extra ones. All I'm literally doing is a flick up. Now with that thinner pen, it must be a 0.1 I'm using, or a 0.05. I am dotting the lines that I put in the head of the jellyfish. I can't remember what it's called, the bell, maybe? And I'm just dotting slight creases. Again, you can pattern your jellyfish however you want. If you just look up online jellyfish tattoos, that's a really good way to get some indication of what you want to do with your bell. Maybe it's not called a bell, I can't remember. So I decided to just dot the top half of it, and I actually messed up in a minute, but it's fine because it is what it is. I darkened those folds by just adding more dots, and you'll see me go over that a bit. Like that. So just adding more dots. I am using the 0.05, I think. Yeah, I am. And, you know, you can add to yours by using slightly thicker pens or whatever. But yeah, looking up jellyfish tattoos is such a good way to kind of work out what you want to do, and this is where I messed up. So I wanted to add a second layer, but I was talking to somebody at the time, so that's why my top layer is a bit of a funny shape. I think in the actual Spoonie and ink class, I did the top layer slightly closer, but again, you don't even need to add that at all. After I've done that, I go back in and I add more lines, but I'm doing lots of flicky lines from the top down to show that there'll be shadowing. So I fully cover that. I'm sure I zoom in at some point so you can see it a bit more. I hope. Yeah, like that. So yeah, from the top down, just to show that there's like those flaps go over each other and it's not just a straight piece. I make them quite dark. And then, I don't know if I'll do it now, I again, like I did the tentacles, I will thicken bits of the flaps. Am I doing it now? Yeah. So just to make even more shadow, at the bottom of the oral arm flaps, that's an odd sentence, I just thicken random bits again. I liked how this looked. I think it added a bit of dimension to it. Again, it's an artistic choice. You absolutely do not need to do that if you don't want, but I do really like how it looked. It adds a bit of contrast. And then, is this where my stupid hand would get out of the way? I was darkening where the underneath of the bell, so again I just add some dots in there. And then I will go in and add some more tentacles, so some behind the oral arms to show that they're joined to the back of the jellyfish, and I said dolphin then, and some in front if I think it needs more. And that's pretty much it for this one. I'm going to show the jellyfish that we did in class because I just added some extra bits, not massively. But so that's one I did in class. So I darkened the bell. I did some tentacles going up as well, which I really like. It just, again, adds movement. I also added like little dots on the tentacles and darkened under the bell. But yeah, that's it really. So yeah, thank you. I want to see your jellies.